Hello there, and welcome to the Sleep and Wonder channel. Tonight we'll be entering the world of plants, quiet living systems that surround us every day, shaping landscapes, climates, and life itself, often without drawing attention to their presence. We'll explore how plants live without moving, how they grow, sense their surroundings, and adapt patiently to light, water, seasons, and time. We'll look beneath the surface, following roots into the soil, and upward through stems and leaves where light becomes energy and air becomes part of living tissue. Along the way, we'll observe how plants manage water, how they breathe with the planet, and how they form communities that stabilize land and support entire ecosystems. We'll move through cycles of growth and rest, through long lifespans and quiet continuity, and reflect on the ways plants coexist with human life, not only as resources, but as constant companions shaping our environments and influencing our sense of calm and attention. As this journey unfolds, you may notice your thoughts becoming lighter, your breath deeper, your body responding to the same unhurried rhythm that plants have followed for millions of years. If you enjoy these quiet journeys, you're gently invited to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one resting mind at a time. But for now, simply breathe in and breathe out. Let your body soften. Let your thoughts slow and settle as we step quietly into the calm, living world of plants. Let's begin. Before there were forests, before fields, gardens, or cultivated land, before the familiar green that now surrounds much of the planet, the Earth was a very different place. Its surface was shaped by rock, water, and wind, by oceans forming and retreating, by volcanic landscapes and bare mineral ground. Life already existed, quietly and persistently, but it remained mostly small, simple, and close to the water. Then, over immense spans of time, a new way of living began to take form. This was the beginning of the green world. Plants did not arrive suddenly. They emerged gradually through countless small changes, as certain organisms learned to use light itself as a source of energy. Sunlight, once only a background presence, became an active participant in life. Through this shift, plants introduced something entirely new to the planet, a form of life that did not need to chase food, that did not hunt or flee, but instead learned to remain, to stay in one place, to grow slowly, to transform the environment around them simply by existing. This quiet decision to remain rooted would alter the Earth forever. As plants spread, the planet began to change in subtle but profound ways. Green surfaces expanded across land that had once been bare. Soils deepened. The air slowly transformed. Water cycles adjusted. Temperatures softened in many regions. Without movement, without sound, without intention, plants reshaped the conditions of life itself. They did not dominate through force. They did not compete through speed. They endured. And endurance over time proved to be one of the most powerful strategies of all. The earliest plants were small and close to the ground, often living near water, where moisture was reliable. They lacked flowers, fruits, or seeds as we know them today. Yet they carried within them a remarkable capacity, the ability to turn light into nourishment. This process, which we now call photosynthesis, was not merely a biological innovation, it was a planetary transformation. By absorbing sunlight and exchanging gases with the air, plants began to influence the atmosphere itself. Oxygen levels gradually increased. Carbon moved into living tissues. Energy from the sun became stored in leaves, stems, and roots. The planet slowly grew more breathable, more stable, more hospitable. What followed was not an explosion of activity, but a long, steady unfolding. Plants expanded into new environments, adapting to heat and cold, dryness and abundance, learning to survive where water was scarce and where sunlight arrived only briefly each day. They developed forms that hugged the ground and others that reached upward layer by layer into the open air. As plants grew taller, they created shade where none had existed before. Under that shade, new conditions formed. Cooler air retained moisture, protected soil. Life beneath them changed as well. The presence of plants allowed other organisms to follow. Insects, fungi, animals, and microorganisms found new habitats shaped by leaves, roots, and stems. Entire ecosystems began to organize around this quiet green foundation. Yet plants themselves remained remarkably understated. They did not signal their arrival with sound. They did not announce their importance. They continued slowly and consistently to do what they had always done: capture light, draw water upward, anchor themselves in the soil, and grow. Over time, this steady growth created landscapes we now recognize: grasslands stretching toward the horizon, dense forests layered with life, wetlands, groves, and cultivated fields. The green world became the visible skin of the land. But even now, after hundreds of millions of years, plants remain patient beings. They do not rush. They do not react impulsively. They respond to their surroundings with adjustments measured in hours, days, seasons, and years. Where animals move through space, plants move through time. Their growth records history in rings, layers, and patterns of branching. Their presence reflects climate, soil, and water availability. Their forms are shaped by long-term conditions rather than immediate events. To observe plants is to observe continuity. They remind us that life does not need urgency to be effective. That stillness can be dynamic. That transformation can happen without spectacle. In the green world, change unfolds quietly. As this world expanded, plants became the foundation upon which nearly all terrestrial life depends. They feed ecosystems without seeking recognition. They stabilize environments without drawing attention. They persist even through disturbance, often returning first, softening the ground for others to follow. The green world is not defined by dominance, but by presence. It is a world shaped by light, time, and patience. A world that does not hurry, yet never truly stops. As we begin this journey into the lives of plants, it becomes clear that understanding them requires a different pace of attention. To know plants is not to watch for action, but to notice processes. To observe not movement, but response. To recognize that beneath their stillness lies a deep and constant conversation with light, water, air, and soil. And it is within this quiet conversation that the green world continues to grow. Movement is often associated with life, with intention, reaction, and survival. Animals move to find food, to escape danger, to explore their surroundings. Plants do none of these things. They remain where they are, and yet they live fully. To understand how plants live without moving, it helps to let go of the idea that movement is required for action. Plants do not travel through space. Instead, they organize their lives around exchange. Light, air, water, and minerals move toward them. And plants respond quietly and continuously. At the center of this way of living is a remarkable process, one that unfolds without sound or urgency: photosynthesis. In simple terms, photosynthesis is how plants turn light into energy. But the simplicity of the explanation hides its elegance. Sunlight reaches the surface of a leaf. Inside that leaf, light is absorbed by specialized structures. Water rises from the soil through fine internal pathways. Carbon dioxide enters through tiny openings in the leaf's surface. Together, these elements are transformed. Light becomes stored energy. Air becomes part of living tissue. Water becomes a carrier of life. All of this happens without movement, without awareness as we know it, without effort. Leaves are shaped to receive light efficiently. Some are broad and flat, others narrow and delicate. Some turn slowly toward the sun during the day, not by choice, but through gradual growth patterns responding to light. This is how plants move, not by shifting location, but by adjusting form. Their responses are built into their structure. When light is stronger on one side of a stem, cells grow at slightly different rates. Over time, the plant leans, not suddenly, not dramatically, but steadily. Roots behave in a similar way. They grow downward, guided by gravity and moisture. They branch and divide, searching not through movement but through expansion. Where water is present, roots thicken. Where minerals are scarce, they explore further. This growth creates a vast, unseen architecture beneath the surface, a quiet counterpart to the leaves above. Inside the plant, a continuous flow is taking place. Water and dissolved minerals travel upward from the roots. Sugars produced in the leaves move downward and outward. This circulation connects every part of the plant, from the finest root hair to the highest leaf. There is no heart to pump this movement, no central command. Instead, it is guided by pressure differences, by evaporation from leaf surfaces, by the natural properties of water itself. As moisture leaves a leaf through tiny pores, more water is drawn upward from below. A slow, steady pull, uninterrupted, reliable. This is how plants remain alive in one place. They do not store food in the way animals do. They produce it continuously, as long as light and water are available. When conditions change, plants adjust their pace. In bright seasons, growth accelerates, leaves expand, stems lengthen, energy is stored. In darker or colder times, activity slows. Growth becomes minimal. Resources are conserved. Some plants shed leaves entirely, entering a period of rest. Others maintain a quiet, steady function, unchanged by surface appearances. This ability to slow down without stopping is central to plant life. Plants are not inactive when they appear still. They are simply operating on a different timescale. Their lives are measured in cycles rather than moments, in seasons rather than seconds. Even processes that seem static, like standing up upright or holding a leaf in place require constant internal balance. Cells maintain pressure against their walls. Water levels are regulated. Chemical signals move from one part of the plant to another. All of this happens continuously, whether we are watching or not. Plants also interact with the air in subtle ways. Through their leaves, they exchange gases, taking in carbon dioxide, releasing oxygen, and allowing water vapor to escape. This exchange helps regulate temperature, both within the plant and in the surrounding environment. A grove of plants cools the air around it. Moisture released from leaves softens heat. Shadows form beneath branches. Without moving, plants shape the atmosphere they inhabit. They do not react instantly to change. They respond through adjustment. When water becomes scarce, tiny openings in leaves close gradually. When light decreases, growth shifts toward available sources. These responses are slow, but they are precise. Plants do not waste energy on sudden action. They invest in long-term balance. This way of living, rooted, patient, responsive, has allowed plants to persist through immense changes in the Earth's history. Ice ages, warming periods, shifting continents. They remained. They adapted. They continued. To live without moving is not a limitation. It is a different strategy, one that values presence over pursuit, stability over speed, continuity over reaction. As we learn how plants live in one place, it becomes easier to see the quiet intelligence in their design. And that understanding naturally leads to another question. If plants respond so precisely to their environment, without a brain or nervous system, how do they perceive the world around them? Awareness is often associated with thought, with memory, decision, and choice. In human experience, awareness is tied closely to the brain, to nerves carrying signals at great speed, to rapid reactions and immediate responses. Plants have none of these structures. They have no brain, no nervous system, no eyes, ears, or centralized control. And yet they are far from unaware. To understand plant awareness, it is necessary to expand the meaning of the word itself. Awareness in the plant world is not about thinking. It is about sensing, responding, and adjusting, continuously, quietly, and with remarkable precision. Plants live immersed in their environment. They cannot retreat from it. They cannot seek shelter elsewhere. Everything that happens around them happens directly to them. Because of this, their sensitivity must be distributed, not gathered in one place, but spread throughout their entire body. Every surface of a plant is, in some way, receptive. Leaves sense light, not just its presence, but its direction, intensity, and duration. Stems sense gravity, guiding growth upward. Roots sense moisture, minerals, temperature, and chemical signals in the soil. This sensing does not lead to sudden action. It leads to adjustment. When light comes from one side, cells on the shaded side of a stem grow slightly longer. Over time, the stem bends toward the light. The plant has not decided to turn. It has responded to a gradient. This is awareness without intention, perception without thought. Plants also sense time. They respond to daily cycles of light and darkness. Some leaves open in the morning and close at night. Others adjust their orientation as the sun moves across the sky. These rhythms continue even in constant darkness. suggesting an internal sense of time, a biological clock attuned to the planet's rotation. Seasons, too, are sensed gradually. As days shorten and temperatures cool, many plants slow their growth. Some prepare to shed leaves, others redirect energy inward, storing resources for months of apparent stillness. These changes are not reactions to single events. They are responses to patterns. Plants are attentive to trends rather than moments. Touch is another signal plants perceive. When a vine encounters a surface, cells on the side in contact slow their growth, while cells on the opposite side continue to expand. The result is a gentle curve and eventually a secure hold. This process unfolds slowly, but it is highly specific. The plant distinguishes between open space and solid support, between temporary contact and stable structure. Roots behave in similar ways underground. They encounter stones, compacted soil, pockets of moisture. They grow around obstacles, branch toward nutrients, and avoid harmful substances. Chemical signals guide this growth. The soil is rich with information, from minerals, microorganisms, fungi, and neighboring roots. Plants respond to this information continuously, adjusting direction and density as they grow. None of this requires a brain. Instead, awareness is built into growth itself. Plants do not react after the fact. They respond as they form. Their structure is their behavior. Inside the plant, information travels slowly. Electrical signals do occur in plant tissues, but they move far more gradually than in animals. Chemical messengers travel through fluids, altering growth patterns and internal processes. These signals coordinate responses across the plant body. When one leaf is damaged, others may alter their chemistry. When roots encounter stress, growth above ground may change. This communication is subtle, but it is consistent. Plants also respond to sound vibrations, though not in the way animals hear. Low-frequency vibrations, such as those produced by flowing water or wind, can influence root growth and stem strength. Again, the response is not immediate. It unfolds over time as growth patterns adjust. Awareness in plants is cumulative. It builds from countless small signals, integrated slowly into form. Because plants cannot move away from danger, their awareness focuses on preparation rather than escape. They strengthen tissues where stress is frequent. They thicken bark in response to wind. They alter chemical composition when threats persist. This form of awareness is patient and anticipatory. It does not seek to avoid all harm. It seeks to endure. Plants also sense each other. Roots release chemical signals into the soil. Leaves emit airborne compounds. These signals can influence neighboring plants, altering growth rates, flowering times, and defensive responses. Such interactions are not conversations in the human sense. They are not intentional exchanges. They are overlapping fields of influence. Plants exist within these fields constantly, responding to presence, proximity, and change. In this way, awareness in plants is communal, not centralized, not individual in isolation. It is a shared sensitivity to conditions. What may appear to us as passivity is in reality deep attunement. Plants notice what persists. They ignore what passes quickly. Their awareness is tuned to slow variables, light patterns, moisture trends, temperature shifts, seasonal cycles. This makes them remarkably stable beings. They are not easily startled. They are not easily distracted. Their attention is not pulled outward. It remains embedded in the present conditions of their environment. To observe plants is to witness a form of awareness that does not rush toward meaning. It simply adjusts. This awareness does not produce anxiety. There is no anticipation of future events, no memory of past harm in the way animals remember. There is only response, growth in one direction, slowing in another, persistence through change. As we consider plant awareness without a brain, it becomes clear that intelligence does not require thought. It can exist as sensitivity, as responsiveness, as form shaped by experience over time. This realization gently shifts our perspective. If awareness can exist without urgency, without speed, without conscious intention, then perhaps attention itself does not need to be tense or effortful. Plants remain attentive by being present. They sense the world by staying where they are. And this quiet form of awareness invites us to slow our own pace of observation. Because when awareness unfolds slowly, it naturally leads us to another understanding. That time itself moves differently in the living world of plants. Time does not move at the same speed for all forms of life. For animals, time is often measured in moments, in reactions, decisions, and rapid change. A sound is heard, a movement follows, an action is taken. Plants live by a different clock. Their lives are not shaped by urgency, but by duration. Not by sudden events, but by patterns that unfold slowly, sometimes almost imperceptibly. To understand plants, it is necessary to adjust our sense of time. Growth in the plant world is rarely dramatic. It does not announce itself. It accumulates. A leaf expands millimeter by millimeter. A stem lengthens quietly through the night. Roots advance through soil grain by grain, responding to moisture and resistance. If we were to watch a plant continuously, its stillness might seem complete. But beneath that stillness, change is always underway. Plant growth is not movement through space, but movement through time. Cells divide, elongate, differentiate. New tissues form while old ones age. Resources are shifted gradually from one part of the plant to another. This process follows rhythms. Daily rhythms align with light and darkness. Seasonal rhythms respond to temperature and day length. Longer rhythms unfold over years, sometimes decades. Plants are deeply attuned to cycles. They do not resist them, they follow them. In many plants, growth is not constant throughout the day. It often occurs most actively at night, when temperatures are lower and water loss is reduced. While the world appears quiet, plants are elongating, cells are stretching, structures are forming. By morning, changes have already occurred, though they remain subtle to the human eye. This quiet, nocturnal growth reflects a larger principle. Plants invest in efficiency rather than speed. They do not grow as fast as possible. They grow as sustainably as possible. Their pace is shaped by available resources, by water, light, nutrients, and space. When conditions are favorable, growth accelerates gently. When conditions decline, growth slows or pauses. This ability to adjust tempo is central to plant survival. Plants do not experience time as pressure. They experience it as continuity. Some plants complete their entire life cycle in a single season. Others grow slowly for centuries. Trees in particular embody long time. Each year a tree adds a thin layer of new growth. These layers accumulate as rings, recording seasons of abundance and scarcity. Dry years, wet years, warm periods, cold periods. Time becomes visible in structure. The plant does not remember these years consciously, but its body carries the record. Branches form in response to light availability. Roots thicken where stability is needed. Bark grows thicker as protection accumulates over time. This slow accumulation of form allows plants to persist through variability. Unlike animals, plants cannot relocate when conditions change. They cannot escape unfavorable seasons. Instead, they prepare. As days shorten, many plants begin to reduce visible growth. Energy is redirected inward. Sugars and nutrients are stored. Growth points become protected. This transition is gradual. There is no sudden switch between activity and rest. There is only a slow shift in emphasis. Dormancy, when it occurs, is not inactivity. It is a state of minimal function. Cells remain alive. Metabolism continues at a reduced pace. The plant remains attentive to its environment, waiting for favorable conditions to return. This waiting is not passive, it is strategic. Plants are experts in patience. They do not anticipate the future in the human sense, but their structure reflects preparation for recurring patterns. Seeds may remain dormant for years, sometimes decades, until conditions align. Some germinate only after fire. Others require cold periods or specific moisture levels. Time for plants is not linear, it is cyclical. Growth, rest, renewal, and decline repeat in predictable rhythms. Even within a single plant, different parts operate on different timelines. Leaves may live for weeks or years. Roots may persist longer. Woody tissues can endure for centuries. Old structures support new growth. New tissues emerge while older ones slowly return to the soil. This layered time creates stability. Plants do not need to replace themselves all at once. They renew continuously. This continuity allows ecosystems to remain balanced. Plant communities shift gradually, often over generations. A forest changes slowly, tree by tree, species by species. There are no sudden transformations unless external forces intervene. This slow pace buffers the living world against abrupt change. Plants moderate extremes. They cool landscapes through shade and evaporation. They anchor soil against erosion. They regulate water movement. All of this happens not through rapid action, but through sustained presence. To exist on the plant timescale is to exist without hurry. There is no advantage to reacting too quickly. There is value in responding correctly. Plants respond not to isolated events, but to trends. A single cold night does not alter a tree's strategy. A single dry day does not redefine a plant's growth pattern. Plants wait for confirmation. They observe patterns over time. This is the slow clock of plants. It is a clock that measures persistence rather than speed, consistency rather than urgency, balance rather than reaction. In this way, plants embody a form of temporal intelligence. They know when to grow, they know when to pause, they know when to store and when to release, all without thought, all without awareness of time as humans understand it. Their bodies are shaped by time, and time is shaped by their bodies. As we begin to align our attention with this slower rhythm, something shifts in our perception. Urgency fades. The need to anticipate diminishes. Attention settles into the present moment. Because when time moves slowly, there is space to observe. And as we continue this journey into the plant world, this understanding of time naturally draws our attention to where so much of this slow work begins, below the surface in the hidden half of plant life. When we look at a plant, we usually see only part of its body. Leaves, stems, flowers, and branches occupy the space above the ground. They capture light, interact with air, and shape the visible form of the plant. But beneath the surface, often extending farther than the plant's height above ground, lies another structure just as complex and essential: the root system. For most plants, roots make up nearly half of their total body mass. In some species, the underground portion is even larger than what is visible above the soil. This hidden half performs several critical functions at once. Without roots, a plant cannot survive. The most basic role of roots is anchorage. Roots hold plants in place. They stabilize stems against wind, rain, and gravity. In loose or shallow soils, roots spread wide. In compact or deep soils, they may grow downward more strongly. This anchoring function allows plants to remain upright without rigid skeletal structures. Instead of bones, plants rely on root networks and internal water pressure to maintain stability. But anchorage is only the beginning. Roots are also the primary interface between plants and the soil. They are responsible for absorbing water and dissolved minerals, including nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. These substances are essential for building tissues, producing energy, and maintaining internal balance. Root surfaces are not smooth. They are covered with extremely fine structures known as root hairs. These microscopic extensions dramatically increase surface area, allowing plants to absorb water and nutrients efficiently, even when concentrations are low. This absorption process is continuous. Water enters roots primarily through osmosis, moving from areas of higher water concentration in the soil to lower concentration inside root cells. Minerals enter through both passive and active processes. Some move along natural gradients. Others require energy to be transported into the plant. Once inside the roots, water and nutrients are transported upward through specialized tissues towards stems and leaves. Roots do not grow randomly. Their growth is guided by several environmental cues. Gravity directs roots downward, a response known as gravitropism. Moisture gradients guide roots toward water sources, a process called hydrotropism. Roots also respond to nutrient availability. Where minerals are abundant, roots branch more densely. Where resources are scarce, they extend further. This results in highly efficient underground architectures tailored to local soil conditions. Different plants develop different types of root systems. Some plants produce a central taproot that grows deep into the soil, providing strong anchorage and access to deep water reserves. Others develop fibrous root systems composed of many thin roots spreading near the surface. These systems are especially effective at stabilizing soil and absorbing water from rainfall. In many ecosystems, root systems from different plants overlap. They share space, compete for resources, and sometimes interact chemically. Roots also release substances into the soil. These secretions, known as root exudates, include sugars, organic acids, and other compounds. They influence soil chemistry and affect the behavior of microorganisms nearby. Through these exudates, roots help shape the soil environment. They can increase nutrient availability, alter pH levels, and support beneficial microbial communities. One of the most important root relationships is with fungi. Many plants form symbiotic partnerships with fungi through structures called mycorrhizae. In these associations, fungal filaments attach to or enter plant roots. The fungi extend far beyond the reach of roots alone, accessing water and nutrients from a much larger volume of soil. In return, the plant supplies the fungi with sugars produced through photosynthesis. This partnership improves nutrient uptake, enhances drought resistance, and increases overall plant stability. For many plant species, these fungal relationships are not optional. They are essential. Roots also play a role in storage. Some plants store energy in enlarged roots, accumulating sugars, starches, or water. This allows them to survive unfavorable seasons and resume growth when conditions improve. These storage roots are part of the plant's long-term strategy. They represent preparation rather than reaction. Roots are also involved in communication. Chemical signals released by roots can influence neighboring plants, alert nearby roots to competition, or alter microbial activity in the soil. While this communication is not conscious or intentional, it allows plants to adjust growth patterns based on surrounding conditions. Roots sense temperature, oxygen availability, and soil density. In waterlogged soils, roots may reduce growth or develop specialized structures to improve oxygen intake. In compacted soils, roots grow more slowly or redirect their growth laterally. All of these responses occur gradually. There are no sudden changes. Adjustment happens through growth patterns over time. Roots also contribute to ecosystem stability. They bind soil particles together, reducing erosion caused by wind and water. They help maintain soil structure, creating pores that allow air and water to move freely. When plants die, their roots remain in the soil, decomposing slowly and adding organic matter. This enriches the soil for future plant life. In this way, root systems link generations of plants. They contribute to continuity rather than replacement. Despite their importance, roots operate almost entirely out of view. They do not respond to light. They do not produce visible structures like flowers. Their work is constant, quiet, and essential. Plants depend on roots not only for survival, but for balance. Without roots, there is no access to water, no mineral intake, no anchorage, no long-term stability. Above-ground growth reflects below-ground conditions. A plant's size, health, and resilience are determined largely by the strength and reach of its roots. As we consider this hidden half of plant life, it becomes clear that much of what sustains the visible world happens quietly beneath the surface. And this understanding naturally leads us upward again, to the structures that rise from these roots, carrying water and nutrients toward the light. Above the ground, plants present a wide variety of forms. Some remain low and flexible. Others rise meters into the air, forming rigid structures capable of supporting enormous weight. What makes this possible is not chance or decoration, but a precise internal architecture. Stems and trunks are the structural framework of plants. They connect roots to leaves, transport water and nutrients, and support the plant's body against gravity, wind, and its own mass. Although they appear simple from the outside, their internal organization is highly specialized. The most basic function of a stem is connection. Stems link the underground root system to the leaves, flowers, and reproductive structures above. They serve as pathways for continuous movement of substances throughout the plant. Water and dissolved minerals absorbed by roots travel upward through the stem. Sugars produced in leaves move downward and outward through the same structure. This transport occurs through two main tissue systems. Xylem carries water and minerals upward. Phloem distributes sugars and other organic compounds to growing or storage tissues. These systems run lengthwise through stems and trunks, forming a vertical network that supports the entire plant. In non-woody plants, stems are often soft and flexible. They rely primarily on internal water pressure, known as turgor pressure, to remain upright. As long as cells are well hydrated, the stem maintains its shape. When water is scarce, the stem may wilt, not because its structure has failed, but because internal pressure has decreased. Woody plants use a different strategy. Trees and shrubs produce secondary growth, adding layers of tissue year after year. This process results in trunks and branches that are rigid, durable, and capable of long-term support. Wood is composed mainly of xylem cells that have thickened walls reinforced with lignin. Lignin provides strength and resistance to compression, allowing trunks to support large canopies and withstand environmental stress. As a tree grows, new layers of xylem are added around older ones. This creates the familiar pattern of growth rings, each representing a period of growth. These rings are not only structural, they also reflect environmental conditions. Wide rings indicate favorable growth conditions. Narrow rings suggest limited resources, such as drought or cold. Thus, the architecture of trunks records both stability and change. Stems also play a critical role in positioning leaves. Leaves must be arranged to receive light efficiently. If they overlap too much, photosynthesis is reduced. Stems grow and branch in ways that distribute leaves through space, balancing exposure to sunlight with structural stability. Branching patterns vary widely among plant species, but they follow predictable rules. Some plants branch repeatedly, creating dense structures. Others grow a dominant central stem with fewer side branches. These patterns influence how light, air, and water move through the plant. They also affect how plants interact with wind. Flexible stems bend rather than break. Woody trunks resist bending but absorb force gradually. This balance between flexibility and rigidity allows plants to survive storms and mechanical stress. Internally, stems are organized with precision. Vascular tissues are arranged in specific patterns, depending on the plant group. In many flowering plants, vascular bundles form a ring within the stem. In others, they are scattered. These arrangements influence how efficiently materials are transported and how well the stem resists bending. Stems are also sites of growth. At their tips are regions called meristems, where cells divide and elongate. This is where stems lengthen and branches form. Growth occurs primarily near these tips, not along the entire length of the stem. This allows plants to extend upward gradually, adjusting direction and form as they grow. Stems also respond to environmental signals. They grow toward light sources, a response known as phototropism. They adjust thickness in response to wind exposure, producing stronger tissues where stress is frequent. These adjustments are slow and structural, not reactive in the moment. Plants do not brace themselves suddenly. They strengthen over time. In some plants, stems also function as storage organs. They may accumulate sugars, water, or other compounds that support survival during unfavorable conditions. Cacti, for example, store large amounts of water in thickened stems, allowing them to survive extended dry periods. In other species, stems store starches or oils used during dormancy or regrowth. Trunks, in long-lived plants, represent an extreme form of stem specialization. They must support not only the plant's weight, but decades or centuries of incremental growth. They must resist decay, transport water over long distances, and remain functional even as outer tissues age. This is achieved through layered organization. The outer bark protects against physical damage and pathogens. Inner tissues transport nutrients. Older xylem provides structural strength. Even when parts of a trunk are damaged, plants often continue to function, rerouting transport pathways around injured areas. This redundancy contributes to plant resilience. Stems and trunks also shape ecosystems. They create vertical structure, supporting other organisms. Birds nest in branches. Insects live beneath bark. Epiphytes grow on surfaces. The architecture of plants creates habitats beyond the plant itself. When plants die, their stems and trunks often remain standing or fallen, continuing to influence the environment. They provide shelter, retain moisture, and gradually return nutrients to the soil. Thus, the architecture of support extends beyond the life of the plant. It contributes to continuity rather than replacement. In all of this, stems and trunks remain silent. They do not signal effort. They do not advertise complexity. They simply hold, connect, and conduct. They allow plants to occupy space vertically, to rise into light, and to distribute life throughout their bodies. Understanding stems and trunks reveals that plant architecture is not decorative. It is functional, efficient, and precisely adapted to long-term stability. And as we move upward from stems and trunks, following the flow of water and nutrients toward the light, our attention naturally arrives at the surfaces where exchange with the atmosphere takes place. Leaves are the most visible working surfaces of plants. They are where light is captured, where air is exchanged, and where much of a plant's energy is produced. Although they appear delicate, leaves are highly specialized structures designed to manage several processes at once with efficiency and balance. At their core, leaves function as energy collectors. Their broad, flat shapes increase surface area, allowing them to intercept sunlight effectively. This shape is not accidental. It reflects a long process of adaptation to maximize exposure to light while minimizing damage and water loss. Inside a leaf, layers of cells are organized precisely. Near the upper surface, cells contain large numbers of chloroplasts, structures responsible for capturing light energy. These chloroplasts contain chlorophyll, the pigment that gives leaves their green color and allows them to absorb specific wavelengths of light. Light energy is converted into chemical energy through photosynthesis, a process that produces sugars used by the plant for growth, maintenance, and storage. This transformation happens continuously during daylight hours, as long as water and carbon dioxide are available. Carbon dioxide enters the leaf through tiny openings called stomata. These openings are mostly found on the underside of the leaf, where they are less exposed to direct sunlight and heat. Stomata are not permanently open. They open and close in response to environmental conditions, balancing the need for gas exchange with the need to conserve water. When conditions are dry or hot, stomata may close partially, reducing water loss. When moisture is sufficient, they open more fully, allowing efficient exchange of gases. This regulation is slow and continuous, not sudden or reactive. Leaves also play a central role in controlling water movement through plants. As water evaporates from leaf surfaces, a process known as transpiration, it creates a gentle pull that draws more water upward from the roots. This upward movement connects roots, stems, and leaves into a single hydraulic system. Transpiration also cools the plant. As water vapor leaves the leaf, it removes heat, lowering leaf temperature and protecting tissues from overheating. This cooling effect extends beyond the plant itself. Groups of leaves together can lower air temperature in their surroundings, contributing to local climate regulation. Leaves vary widely in shape, size, and texture, and these differences reflect environmental adaptation. In sunny environments, leaves may be smaller or thicker, reducing water loss. In shaded environments, leaves are often broader and thinner, maximizing light capture. Some leaves have smooth surfaces. Others are covered with fine hairs that reduce airflow and slow evaporation. Waxy coatings may reflect excess light and reduce moisture loss. Serrated edges can influence airflow and temperature at the leaf surface. These features may appear subtle, but together they allow leaves to function efficiently under specific conditions. Leaves also respond to light direction. Many plants adjust leaf orientation through gradual growth changes. This ensures that leaves receive light without shading one another excessively. In some species, leaves change orientation during the day, tracking the movement of the sun. In others, leaves remain fixed, but their placement within the canopy is arranged to balance light exposure over time. Leaves are not static structures, they age. Young leaves are often lighter in color, softer and more flexible. As they mature, they develop stronger tissues and greater photosynthetic capacity. Eventually, leaves reach the end of their functional life. In many plants, older leaves are shed during unfavorable seasons. This reduces water loss and protects the plant during cold or dry periods. Leaf shedding is a controlled process. Before a leaf detaches, valuable nutrients are withdrawn and stored elsewhere in the plant. What remains is returned to the soil after the leaf falls. In evergreen plants, leaves may persist for several years, gradually replaced rather than shed all at once. This allows for continuous photosynthesis even during colder seasons. Leaves also interact with their environment in ways that go beyond energy production. They intercept rainfall, slowing its movement to the ground. This reduces soil erosion and helps distribute water more evenly. They filter dust and particles from the air. They provide habitat for microorganisms and insects. They create shade, which influences temperature and moisture at ground level. The collective effect of leaves shapes entire ecosystems. In forests, layers of leaves form a canopy, understory, and ground cover. Each layer creates different conditions of light and humidity, supporting diverse forms of life. Leaves are also involved in communication. They release chemical compounds into the air, some of which influence nearby plants or attract beneficial organisms. When leaves are damaged, chemical signals may spread through the plant, altering growth or defensive responses elsewhere. These signals move slowly, integrated into the plant's ongoing processes. Leaves sense environmental changes. They respond to temperature shifts, light intensity, and water availability. They adjust internal chemistry accordingly. Despite this complexity, leaves operate quietly. They do not draw attention to their activity. They function continuously, balancing competing demands without urgency. They are surfaces of exchange between light and matter, between air and water, between energy and structure. When leaves function well, the plant remains stable. When they are stressed, the entire system adjusts. In this way, leaves are central to plant health and environmental balance. They are not merely decorative, they are working surfaces, carefully designed to sustain life over time. As we understand leaves more clearly, we begin to see how plants connect their internal processes to the larger systems around them. From roots drawing water, to stems conducting it upward, to leaves releasing it back into the air, plants participate in cycles that extend far beyond their own bodies. And this participation naturally leads us to consider how plants, through their leaves, influence something even larger, the atmosphere itself. Plants are deeply connected to the air that surrounds them. They do not simply exist within the atmosphere, they actively shape it. Through countless quiet exchanges, plants influence the composition, movement, and balance of gases that circulate around the planet. This influence operates continuously, day and night, season after season. At the center of this relationship is gas exchange. Leaves interact with the atmosphere through microscopic openings called stomata. These structures allow carbon dioxide to enter and oxygen and water vapor to leave. This exchange is not passive. Stomata respond to light, temperature, humidity, and internal plant conditions. They open and close gradually, regulating the pace of exchange to maintain balance. Through photosynthesis, plants absorb carbon dioxide from the air. This carbon becomes part of sugars, starches, and structural compounds that build plant tissues. Oxygen, produced as a byproduct of this process, is released back into the atmosphere. Over time, this exchange has transformed Earth's air. Before widespread plant life, the atmosphere contained very little oxygen. As plants spread across land and oceans, oxygen levels increased, making complex life possible. This process continues today. Forests, grasslands, wetlands, and even small plant communities participate in regulating atmospheric composition. Plants do not only influence oxygen and carbon dioxide, they also affect water vapor. As water moves through plants and evaporates from leaf surfaces, it enters the atmosphere as moisture. This process, known as transpiration, is a major contributor to atmospheric humidity. In some regions, a significant portion of rainfall originates from moisture released by plants. Large plant-covered areas help maintain local and regional precipitation patterns. When vegetation is reduced, these patterns can shift. Plants also influence air temperature. Through shading and transpiration, they cool the air around them. This cooling effect is measurable at both local and regional scales. Urban areas with vegetation tend to experience lower temperatures than those without. Forests, in particular, moderate temperature extremes. They reduce heat during the day and slow heat loss at night. This buffering effect contributes to environmental stability. Plants also affect air movement. Vegetation alters wind patterns by slowing air near the ground. Leaves and branches create friction, reducing wind speed and influencing how air circulates. This has consequences for evaporation, soil moisture, and the dispersal of seeds and spores. At larger scales, plant-covered landscapes interact with atmospheric circulation systems, contributing to climate regulation. Plants also filter the air. Leaves capture dust, particles, and airborne pollutants. These substances may later be washed away by rain or incorporated into soil. This filtering effect improves air quality, particularly in densely vegetated areas. Plants communicate chemically with the atmosphere. They release volatile organic compounds that can influence cloud formation and atmospheric chemistry. These compounds are produced naturally and vary among plant species. Their effects are subtle but widespread. At night, plants continue interacting with the air. Photosynthesis stops without light, but respiration continues. Plants consume oxygen and release carbon dioxide just as animals do. This nighttime exchange is slower and balanced by daytime photosynthesis. The rhythm of day and night creates a steady atmospheric pulse. Seasonal changes also shape this relationship. During growing seasons, plants actively absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen. During dormant periods, these processes slow. On a global scale, this seasonal pattern is visible as fluctuations in atmospheric gas concentrations. The planet breathes in cycles, guided in large part by plant activity. Plants do not act with intention. They respond to physical and chemical conditions, following processes shaped by evolution. Yet the cumulative effect is a living atmosphere, maintained through countless small exchanges. Without plants, the air would change rapidly. Temperature extremes would increase. Water cycles would shift. Gas composition would drift away from conditions that support life. Plants stabilize these systems not through force, but through continuity. Their influence is distributed, persistent, and quiet. Every leaf contributes. Every blade of grass participates. Every forest canopy alters the flow of air and moisture. This planetary role does not require visibility. Plants do not announce their work. They simply continue. As we recognize how plants shape the atmosphere, it becomes clear that they are not separate from climate. They are part of it. The breath of the planet moves through stems and leaves, through forests and fields, linking biological life to the air that surrounds it. And as we follow this breath further, our attention naturally turns to how plants interact with one another, forming shared systems that extend beyond individual organisms. Plants rarely live in isolation. In most environments, they grow alongside other plants, forming communities shaped by shared conditions and long-term interactions. These communities are not random collections of species. They are structured systems organized by light availability, soil composition, water access, and climate. Within a plant community, each species occupies a particular role. Some grow tall and capture direct sunlight. Others remain low, adapted to filtered light beneath canopies. Some spread quickly across open ground. Others grow slowly, persisting over long periods. Together, these patterns create layered environments where space and resources are distributed over time. Competition exists within plant communities, but it is not constant or chaotic. Plants compete for light, water, and nutrients, yet this competition unfolds gradually. Growth rates, root depth, and seasonal timing all influence outcomes. Rather than sudden dominance, plants often coexist through differentiation. They use resources at different times or in different ways. Some species grow early in the season, completing much of their life cycle before others fully emerge. Others grow later, using resources when early species decline. Root systems may occupy different soil depths, reducing direct competition for water and minerals. Leaf shapes and orientations allow plants to share light rather than block it entirely. These strategies support coexistence. In many cases, plants benefit directly from growing together. Dense plant cover reduces soil erosion. Roots stabilize ground structure. Leaf litter accumulates, improving soil fertility over time. As organic matter builds, soil retains moisture more effectively, benefiting all plants in the community. Plants also influence microclimates. Groups of plants reduce temperature extremes, slow wind, and increase humidity near the ground. This creates more stable conditions than isolated plants would experience alone. These shared conditions improve survival, especially in challenging environments. Plants also interact through chemical signals. Roots release compounds into the soil that influence neighboring plants and microorganisms. Some signals inhibit growth nearby. Others encourage beneficial relationships, particularly with fungi and bacteria. These chemical exchanges shape which species thrive in certain locations and how communities change over time. One of the most important cooperative relationships in plant communities involves fungi. Through mycorrhizal networks, plants become indirectly connected underground. Fungal filaments link roots of different individuals and sometimes different species. These networks facilitate nutrient exchange, particularly phosphorus and nitrogen. They also improve water access and increase resistance to stress. In some cases, plants can transfer resources through these networks, supporting seedlings or stressed neighbors. This exchange is not intentional, but it contributes to community stability. Plants also influence one another above ground. The presence of certain species can reduce herbivore pressure on others. Dense plant cover may hide individual plants from grazing animals. Some plants release scents that attract predators of herbivores, indirectly protecting nearby plants. These interactions form complex feedback systems that extend beyond individual organisms. Plant communities are dynamic. They change over time in response to disturbances such as fire, storms, or shifts in climate. After disturbance, certain plants colonize quickly, stabilizing soil and creating conditions for others to follow. These early species are often replaced gradually by longer-lived plants. This process, known as ecological succession, leads to predictable changes in community structure over decades or centuries. Throughout this process, plants influence the pace and direction of change. They shape soil chemistry, alter light conditions, and modify water availability. In this way, plant communities actively participate in their own development. Different environments support different community types. Grasslands, forests, wetlands, and deserts each host distinct plant assemblages, adapted to specific conditions. Yet across these environments, the same principles apply. Plants coexist by dividing resources, modifying their surroundings, and responding gradually to change. No single plant controls the system. Stability emerges from interaction. Even in dense forests, where competition for light is intense, plants form layered systems that allow many species to persist. The canopy captures direct sunlight. The understory uses filtered light. The forest floor supports shade-tolerant plants and seedlings waiting for openings. This vertical organization increases biodiversity and resource efficiency. Plant communities also support other forms of life. Animals depend on plant structure for shelter and food. Microorganisms rely on plant-derived organic matter. Fungi connect plants into functional networks. Thus, plant communities form the foundation of terrestrial ecosystems. They create living frameworks that support complex interactions across multiple levels. Plants do not coordinate these systems consciously. They respond to local conditions, grow where resources allow, and adjust through growth patterns. Yet the result is coherent. Plant communities persist, recover, and adapt. They demonstrate that cooperation does not require intention, only compatibility and time. As we observe how plants live together, it becomes clear that individual survival is closely linked to collective structure. Plants shape environments not alone, but in groups, and this understanding naturally leads us to consider how plants extend these relationships beyond land, influencing water, soil, and the movement of life across landscapes. Water is central to plant life. Without water, plants cannot maintain structure, transport nutrients, or produce energy. Every stage of a plant's existence, from seed germination to growth, reproduction, and survival, depends on the careful movement and balance of water. Plants do not simply absorb water and hold it. They manage water continuously, regulating how it enters, moves through, is stored, and eventually released back into the environment. This regulation is gradual and constant. Water enters plants primarily through roots. As water moves from the soil into root tissues, it follows physical principles rather than active pulling. Differences in water concentration between soil and root cells drive water inward through osmosis. Once inside the roots, water travels upward through specialized tissues known as xylem. Xylem forms continuous columns of water that extend from roots to leaves. These columns remain intact due to cohesion between water molecules and adhesion to the walls of xylem cells. The upward movement of water is largely driven by transpiration. As water evaporates from leaf surfaces, it creates a gentle pulling force that draws more water upward from below. This process does not require mechanical pumps. It relies on physical properties and continuous evaporation at leaf surfaces. The movement is steady rather than fast. Even in tall trees, water rises gradually, maintaining pressure and continuity. Water transported through the plant serves multiple functions. It carries dissolved minerals from the soil. It maintains cell pressure, which supports stems and leaves. It enables biochemical reactions, including photosynthesis. Water also regulates temperature. As water evaporates from leaves, it removes heat, preventing tissues from overheating. This cooling effect benefits the plant and influences surrounding air temperature. Plants must balance water intake with water loss. Too much water loss leads to dehydration. Too little loss interferes with nutrient transport and cooling. Leaves manage this balance through the opening and closing of stomata. When water is abundant, stomata remain more open, allowing efficient gas exchange and transpiration. When water is scarce, stomata close partially, reducing water loss while still permitting limited gas exchange. This adjustment happens slowly, based on internal signals and environmental conditions. Plants also store water. Some species store water temporarily in stems, leaves, or roots. This storage allows them to survive periods of limited rainfall. Succulent plants, for example, accumulate water in thick tissues, reducing the need for constant intake. Other plants store water in underground organs, where it is protected from heat and evaporation. Water storage is not unlimited. Plants use stored water carefully, drawing on reserves gradually rather than all at once. This measured use contributes to long-term survival. Water availability also shapes plant form. Plants in wet environments often have thin leaves and shallow roots. Plants in dry environments tend to develop thick leaves, deep roots, or reduced surface area. These adaptations reduce water loss and improve water access. Water movement through plants connects individual organisms to larger environmental systems. As plants release water vapor into the air, they contribute to humidity and local climate regulation. In plant-rich regions, transpiration plays a major role in maintaining atmospheric moisture and influencing rainfall patterns. Water cycles through plants repeatedly. It enters from soil, moves through tissues, evaporates into the atmosphere, condenses, and returns as precipitation. Plants act as intermediaries in this cycle, slowing and regulating its flow. When vegetation is removed, water moves more quickly across landscapes, increasing erosion and reducing groundwater recharge. Plant roots slow this movement, allowing water to infiltrate soil rather than run off the surface. This infiltration supports aquifers and stabilizes water availability over time. Plants also respond to excess water. In flooded soils, oxygen becomes limited. Roots may develop specialized structures to transport oxygen internally. Some plants tolerate temporary flooding by slowing growth and metabolism. Others avoid saturated conditions entirely. These responses are part of water balance management. Plants do not seek water aggressively. They respond to gradients and availability, adjusting growth patterns over time. Roots grow toward moisture. Leaves adjust transpiration rates. Growth slows when water is scarce. These changes occur without urgency. They reflect long-term adaptation rather than short-term reaction. Water balance also influences reproduction. Flowering, seed production, and germination depend on water availability. Plants often synchronize these stages with seasonal rainfall patterns, ensuring that reproduction occurs when conditions support growth. In this way, water availability shapes plant life cycles. Throughout all of these processes, plants maintain balance. They neither hoard water nor release it without regulation. They manage flow, storage, and loss in a continuous integrated system. This system operates quietly, without visible motion, yet its effects are widespread. Plant-managed water movement supports ecosystems, stabilizes climates, and sustains life far beyond individual plants. Understanding this balance reveals that plants are not passive recipients of water. They are active participants in shaping how water moves through soils, organisms, and atmosphere. And as we consider how plants manage water, our attention naturally shifts to how they respond to change, how they persist through drought, flood, and environmental variation over time. Change is a constant condition for plants. Unlike animals, plants cannot move to avoid unfavorable conditions. They remain rooted in place, exposed to shifts in temperature, light, water availability, and seasonal rhythms. Survival depends not on escape, but on adjustment. Plants respond to change through growth patterns, physiological regulation, and long-term adaptation. These responses unfold slowly, often over weeks, months, or years. One of the most influential forms of change is the seasonal cycle. Across much of the planet, plants experience predictable variations in temperature, daylight, and precipitation. Rather than reacting suddenly, plants anticipate seasonal shifts. They use environmental cues to time growth, dormancy, flowering, and resource allocation. Day length or photoperiod is a primary signal. As days lengthen or shorten, plants adjust internal processes accordingly. This allows them to synchronize activity with favorable conditions. In spring, increasing daylight triggers renewed growth. Dormant buds activate, leaves expand, roots resume nutrient uptake. In summer, plants maximize photosynthesis and energy storage. In autumn, many species begin to withdraw nutrients from leaves, preparing for colder or drier periods. Leaf shedding in deciduous plants is a controlled process. Before leaves fall, valuable compounds are relocated to stems and roots. In winter, growth slows or stops entirely. Metabolic activity decreases, conserving energy. This seasonal rhythm is not uniform. Different species respond at different times, reducing competition and spreading resource use across the year. Plants also respond to irregular stress. Stress occurs when conditions deviate from what a plant can tolerate easily. Common stressors include drought, extreme temperatures, nutrient limitation, and physical damage. Plants do not experience stress as pain. They respond through physiological adjustments. During drought, plants reduce water loss by closing stomata, slowing growth, and reallocating resources. Leaves may become smaller or thicker, Root growth may increase in depth to access deeper moisture. These changes occur gradually. During temperature extremes, plants adjust internal chemistry. Cold conditions may trigger the production of protective proteins and sugars that reduce cellular damage. Heat stress may alter membrane composition to maintain stability. Plants exposed to nutrient-poor soils adjust growth strategies. They may grow more slowly, develop more extensive root systems, or form stronger partnerships with fungi. These responses reduce immediate growth, but improve long-term survival. Physical damage also prompts adaptation. When leaves or stems are damaged, plants redirect resources to repair tissues or grow new structures. Growth patterns may shift to compensate for lost parts. These adjustments are not rapid. They unfold over time, integrated into the plant's ongoing development. Adaptation operates at multiple timescales. Short-term adjustments help individual plants survive immediate challenges. Long-term adaptation occurs across generations through natural selection. Plants that tolerate local conditions are more likely to reproduce successfully. Over time, populations become better suited to their environments. This process leads to remarkable diversity. Plants in deserts, tundra, rainforests, and alpine regions display very different forms and life strategies. Each reflects adaptation to specific patterns of stress and change. Some plants avoid stress by timing their life cycles carefully. Annual plants, for example, complete their growth and reproduction during brief, favorable periods. Seeds remain dormant until conditions are suitable again. Perennial plants invest in long-term structures, such as woody stems or storage organs, that allow them to persist through unfavorable seasons. Dormancy is a key adaptation. During dormancy, growth slows dramatically. Energy consumption decreases. Cells remain viable but largely inactive. This state protects plants from damage during harsh conditions. Dormancy can occur in seeds, buds, or entire plants. The ability to pause growth without losing viability is central to plant resilience. Plants also adjust to gradual environmental change. As climate patterns shift, plants may alter growth timing, water use efficiency, and reproductive schedules. These adjustments occur within physiological limits. When change exceeds tolerance, plants may decline or be replaced by more suitable species. This gradual turnover reshapes plant communities over time. Throughout these processes, plants do not respond with urgency. They adjust slowly, integrating change into growth patterns rather than reacting in moments. This slow adjustment reduces energy expenditure and avoids unnecessary risk. Plants also exhibit trade-offs. Increased stress tolerance often comes at the cost of slower growth. Rapid growth may reduce stress resistance. Plants balance these trade-offs based on environmental conditions. This balance shapes plant form and function. Stress does not eliminate plants' ability to grow, it redirects growth. Resources are allocated where survival is most likely. Leaves may be sacrificed to protect roots. Growth may pause to conserve energy. These decisions are not conscious. They are embedded in physiology. Plants also benefit from stress memory. Exposure to mild stress can improve tolerance to future stress. This phenomenon, sometimes called priming, allows plants to respond more effectively when conditions repeat. These responses demonstrate that plants do not simply endure change, they incorporate it. Change becomes part of their structure, their timing, and their interaction with the environment. Over time, plants reflect the conditions they have experienced. Growth rings record past climates. Leaf scars mark seasonal cycles. Root architecture reflects soil history. In this way, plants become living records of change. They persist not by resisting all variation, but by adjusting to it continuously. Understanding how plants manage change reveals that stability does not mean absence of variation. It means the capacity to remain functional as conditions shift. And as we observe this capacity, our attention naturally turns to the role plants play in maintaining stability beyond themselves, supporting landscapes, ecosystems, and the balance of life over time. Plants play a central role in stabilizing landscapes. Their influence extends beyond individual growth or survival. Through roots, stems, leaves, and long-term presence, plants shape the physical structure of land and regulate how soil, water, and air interact. This stabilizing role operates quietly and over long periods of time. One of the most direct ways plants provide stability is through their root systems. Roots bind soil particles together. They reduce the movement of soil caused by wind, rain, and gravity. In areas without vegetation, soil is easily displaced. Rainfall can wash particles downhill. Wind can carry fine material away. When plants are present, roots create a network that holds soil in place. This network increases cohesion and reduces erosion. Different root systems stabilize soil in different ways. Deep roots anchor soil layers below the surface. Shallow, spreading roots protect upper layers from surface runoff. Together, these systems slow soil movement and preserve land structure. This stabilization is essential on slopes. On hillsides and mountains, vegetation reduces the risk of landslides by reinforcing soil and absorbing water that would otherwise increase pressure. In riverbanks and coastlines, plants protect against erosion by slowing water flow and reducing wave impact. Plant roots also influence soil structure. As roots grow and die, they create channels within the soil. These channels allow water and air to move more freely, improving drainage and oxygen availability. This structure prevents compaction and supports the growth of future plants. Above ground, plant stems and leaves also contribute to stability. Vegetation slows wind near the surface. Leaves and branches reduce wind speed, lowering the force applied to soil and surface materials. This reduction protects soil from drying and erosion, and it creates more stable microclimates. Plants also regulate water movement across landscapes. When rain falls on vegetated land, leaves intercept some of the water. This slows its descent to the ground, reducing surface runoff. Water that reaches the soil is more likely to infiltrate gradually rather than flow rapidly across the surface. Roots absorb part of this water, while soil structure shaped by roots allows excess water to percolate downward. This process reduces flooding and supports groundwater recharge. In contrast, bare or compacted land allows water to move quickly and destructively. Plants moderate these extremes by distributing water movement over time. Vegetation also stabilizes temperature. Plant cover reduces surface heating during the day and slows heat loss at night. Soil beneath plants experiences fewer temperature fluctuations than exposed soil. This thermal stability protects soil organisms and maintains biological activity. Stable temperatures also reduce soil cracking and degradation. Over longer timescales, plants contribute to landscape formation. Organic matter from decaying plant material accumulates in soil, improving its structure and fertility. This organic content increases water retention and nutrient availability, supporting continued plant growth. As plant communities persist, they gradually build soils capable of supporting more complex ecosystems. Plants also influence the shape of entire ecosystems. Grasslands maintain open landscapes with deep, resilient root systems. Forests create layered environments with stable canopies and rich soils. Wetland plants regulate water levels and protect shorelines. Desert plants stabilize sandy soils and reduce erosion, despite sparse coverage. Each ecosystem reflects the stabilizing strategies of its dominant plants. Plants respond to disturbance by restoring stability. After fires, storms, or floods, plants are among the first organisms to recolonize disturbed land. Early colonizers stabilize soil quickly, reducing further damage and creating conditions for other species. Over time, plant succession leads to increasingly stable systems. This recovery does not eliminate change, it moderates it. Plants allow landscapes to absorb disturbance without losing structure entirely. Even in dynamic environments, vegetation provides continuity. Plants also connect stability across scales. Individual roots stabilize small patches of soil. Plant communities stabilize hillsides. Ecosystems stabilize regional climates and water cycles. These layers of stability interact, creating resilient systems. Plants do not prevent all change. Erosion still occurs. Floods still happen. Seasons still shift. But plants slow the pace of change and distribute its effects. This moderation is essential for long-term balance. Without plants, landscapes become more extreme. Soils degrade quickly. Water cycles become irregular. Temperature fluctuations intensify. Plants reduce these extremes through continuous distributed action. They do not act as barriers. They act as buffers. Their presence allows systems to remain functional despite variability. Plants also stabilize biological relationships. They provide consistent habitat structure for animals, fungi, and microorganisms. This structural stability supports food webs and nutrient cycles. As long as plant communities persist, these relationships remain intact. Stability, in this context, does not mean rigidity. It means the capacity to maintain function while accommodating change. Plants embody this balance. They grow, die, and regenerate. They respond to stress and disturbance. They alter form and timing. Yet through these processes, they hold landscapes together. Understanding the stabilizing role of plants reveals that much of the planet's balance rests on living structures that work slowly and quietly. This realization naturally leads us to consider how plants interact with time itself, how long-lived structures, cycles, and continuity shape the living world. Plants exist on timescales that differ greatly from human experience. Some complete their entire life cycle in a few weeks. Others persist for centuries or even millennia, remaining rooted in the same place through countless changes. This variation in lifespan is not accidental. It reflects different strategies for survival, reproduction, and continuity across time. Understanding plant life requires attention not only to growth and function, but to duration. Plants interact with time as much as they interact with soil, water, and light. Some plants are annuals. They germinate, grow, flower, produce seeds, and die within a single growing season. Their strategy emphasizes speed and efficiency. Annual plants invest heavily in reproduction. They produce many seeds, ensuring that at least some will survive to grow in the next favorable period. This approach allows rapid colonization of disturbed or temporary environments. Other plants are biennials. They grow vegetatively during the first year, store energy, and reproduce during the second. After flowering and seed production, they die. This strategy balances growth and reproduction across 2 seasons. Perennial plants follow a different path. They live for multiple years, sometimes decades or centuries. They invest in long-term structures such as woody stems, deep roots, and storage organs. Perennials do not need to reproduce every year to persist. They can wait for favorable conditions, allocate resources gradually, and recover from stress. Some perennials remain relatively small throughout their lives. Others, such as trees, become some of the largest living organisms on Earth. Longevity in plants is supported by modular growth. Unlike animals, plants grow by adding repeated units, leaves, stems, branches, roots, rather than maintaining a fixed body plan. This modular structure allows parts to be replaced without ending the life of the whole organism. When a branch dies, new growth can emerge elsewhere. When leaves are lost, they are replaced in subsequent seasons. This capacity for renewal supports long lifespans. Plants also possess tissues that remain capable of division throughout their lives. Meristems, located at growth points, allow continuous development. As long as these tissues remain viable, growth and repair can continue. Time in plant life is strongly shaped by cycles. Daily cycles influence processes such as photosynthesis and respiration. Seasonal cycles govern growth, dormancy, flowering, and leaf shedding. These cycles are not imposed externally. Plants actively track environmental signals to align internal processes with external conditions. Photoperiod, temperature, and moisture serve as reliable indicators of seasonal change. Plants use these signals to anticipate future conditions rather than simply respond to present ones. This anticipation reduces risk. Flowering timed to the wrong season can result in reproductive failure. Dormancy entered too late can expose tissues to damage. By synchronizing with cycles, plants increase the likelihood that growth and reproduction occur under favorable conditions. Many plants record time physically. In woody plants, growth rings form as new layers of tissue are added each year. These rings vary in width and density, reflecting environmental conditions during growth. Periods of abundant resources produce wider rings. Stressful periods leave narrower ones. Over time, these records accumulate, preserving information about past climates, droughts, and growing seasons. Other plants record time through scars. Leaf scars, bud scars, and changes in stem structure mark previous growth events. Root systems also reflect time. As roots grow, die, and regenerate, they leave behind patterns that influence soil structure and nutrient distribution. Plants also contribute to continuity across generations. Seeds carry genetic information forward, linking past environments to future populations. Some seeds remain viable for years or decades before germinating. This delayed germination allows plants to persist through unfavorable periods without active growth. In long-lived plants, reproduction may occur repeatedly over many years. This spreads reproductive effort over time, reducing dependence on any single season. Vegetative reproduction also supports continuity. Some plants spread through runners, rhizomes, or underground stems, producing genetically identical individuals. These clones can persist for long periods, forming stable populations even when seed production is limited. In some cases, what appears to be a group of plants is actually a single organism connected underground. Time also shapes plant communities. As individual plants grow and die, they influence the conditions experienced by others. Long-lived plants modify soil, alter light availability, and shape microclimates. These changes affect which species can establish in subsequent generations. In this way, plants influence the future composition of ecosystems. Plant continuity does not require permanence. Change occurs continuously. Species compositions shift, individuals die, new plants establish. Continuity emerges from replacement, not stasis. Plants maintain continuity by passing structure, resources, and conditions forward. They create environments that support future life, even if the original individuals are gone. This relationship with time is neither rushed nor static. Plants operate on multiple timescales simultaneously. They respond to daily conditions while maintaining long-term strategies. They endure seasonal stress while investing in structures that persist for decades. Understanding plants across time reveals that stability is not the absence of change. It is the capacity to remain functional as change unfolds. Plants demonstrate that continuity does not require speed. It requires patience, structure, and repeated adjustment. As we consider how plants persist across time, we naturally arrive at a deeper question: how this long-term presence shapes human environments, cultures, and relationships with the living world. Human life has always unfolded among plants. Long before cities, technologies, or written language, plants shaped where humans lived, what they ate, and how they survived. This relationship did not begin as a choice. It emerged naturally from shared environments and mutual dependence. Plants provided food, shelter, tools, and materials essential for daily life. Humans, in turn, learned to recognize, manage, and adapt to plant presence. Over time, this interaction became more structured, but it never disappeared. Plants remain embedded in human existence, often in ways so familiar that they go unnoticed. The most direct connection between plants and humans is food. Plants form the base of nearly all food systems. Grains, fruits, vegetables, legumes, and oils are derived directly from plant tissues. Even animal-based foods depend on plants indirectly through grazing and feed. Early human societies relied on wild plants for nutrition and survival. Knowledge of edible species, seasonal availability, and preparation methods was passed through observation and experience. This knowledge was essential. Mistakes could be costly. Success meant stability. The domestication of plants marked a major shift in human history. By cultivating specific species, humans gained more reliable food sources. This allowed populations to settle, store surplus, and develop complex societies. Yet domestication did not eliminate dependence on natural processes. Plants still required water, soil, sunlight, and time. Agriculture became a way of working with plant life cycles, not replacing them. Plants also shaped human environments physically. Wood from trees provided materials for shelter, tools, and fuel. Fibers from plants became textiles used for clothing and protection. Plant-derived materials formed the basis of early technologies. These uses required understanding plant properties. Different woods had different strengths. Different fibers responded differently to weaving. Different plants burned at different rates. Human interaction with plants became increasingly specialized. Plants also influenced medicine. Many traditional remedies are derived from plant compounds. Through observation, humans learned which plants relieved pain, reduced fever, or supported healing. Modern medicine continues to rely on plant-derived substances, either directly or as the basis for synthesized compounds. This medicinal relationship reflects long-term observation rather than sudden discovery. Plants also shape cultural practices. They appear in rituals, symbols, and seasonal celebrations. Harvest cycles influence calendars. Plant growth marks the passage of time. In many cultures, plants represent continuity, fertility, and renewal. These symbolic meanings arise from direct experience with plant life. Plants grow, change, and return year after year. This consistency provides a reference point for human life, which is comparatively brief. Plants also shape landscapes where humans live. Vegetation influences climate, water availability, and soil stability. Human settlements often developed in regions with abundant plant life, where soils were fertile and water cycles were stable. In these environments, plants moderated extremes, making long-term habitation possible. As human populations expanded, plant-human interactions intensified. Forests were cleared for agriculture, grasslands were managed for grazing, plants were transported beyond their native ranges. These changes altered ecosystems. In some cases, plant diversity declined. In others, new plant communities formed. Human activity became a major force shaping plant distribution. Despite this influence, humans remain dependent on plants. Food production relies on healthy plant systems. Air quality depends on vegetation. Water cycles are influenced by plant cover. Even in modern urban environments, plants continue to provide essential services. Urban trees reduce heat, improve air quality, and manage water runoff. Parks and green spaces support mental and physical well-being. These benefits occur even when plants are not used directly. Humans also respond psychologically to plants. Exposure to vegetation has been shown to reduce stress, improve concentration, and support recovery from illness. These responses do not require conscious attention. The presence of plants alone can influence mood and perception. This suggests that coexistence operates at multiple levels. Plants support human life physically, environmentally, and psychologically. Yet coexistence is not static. Human demands constrain plant systems. Overharvesting, land conversion, and pollution alter plant communities and reduce resilience. When plant systems are degraded, human systems are affected in return. Food insecurity, water scarcity, and climate instability are linked to plant loss. This feedback highlights interdependence. Plants are not external resources. They are part of shared systems. Sustainable coexistence requires recognizing plant limits and respecting growth cycles. Plants require time to regenerate. Soils require time to recover. Water cycles depend on vegetation. When human activity aligns with these processes, systems remain functional. When it does not, instability increases. Plants do not adapt quickly to rapid change. Their responses unfold gradually through growth and reproduction. This means that long-term planning is essential for coexistence. Human societies that consider plant rhythms are better able to maintain stability. This relationship does not demand constant attention. Plants do not require active management at all times. They require space, appropriate conditions, and time. When these are provided, plants perform their functions reliably. Coexistence, in this sense, is less about control and more about accommodation. Plants continue to grow, cycle, and support life, regardless of human awareness. Yet human well-being remains closely linked to plant presence. Recognizing this connection clarifies the role plants play not only in human history, but in ongoing human life. As we consider this shared existence, our attention naturally shifts toward the quieter effects plants have, not through direct use, but through their influence on inner states, perception, and balance. Plants influence the human mind in ways that are subtle but measurable. This influence does not rely on symbolism alone. It arises from direct interaction between human perception and living plant systems. Long before scientific study, humans noticed that proximity to vegetation altered how the body and mind felt. Modern research has confirmed many of these observations. Plants affect attention, stress levels, emotional regulation, and cognitive fatigue. These effects occur even without conscious focus. One of the most studied effects is the relationship between plants and mental calm. When people are exposed to natural vegetation, heart rate tends to decrease. Breathing becomes slower and more regular. Muscle tension is reduced. These responses reflect changes in the autonomic nervous system. Plant-rich environments support parasympathetic activity, the branch associated with rest, recovery, and regulation. This shift does not require effort. Simply seeing plants, walking among them, or sitting near them can initiate this response. Attention is also influenced. Human attention operates in different modes. Directed attention is effortful. It requires focus, inhibition of distractions, and sustained mental control. This type of attention fatigues quickly. Natural environments, including plant-rich settings, support a different mode sometimes described as effortless attention. In this state, the mind remains engaged without being strained. Leaves moving in wind, variations in light, and organic patterns hold attention gently. They do not demand concentration, but they prevent mental overload. This allows directed attention systems to recover. Studies comparing urban environments with vegetated ones show improved concentration, faster recovery from mental fatigue, and improved task performance after exposure to plants. Plants also influence perception of time. In plant-rich settings, people often report that time feels slower. This perception is not a distortion. It reflects reduced cognitive pressure. Without constant alerts, noise, and competing stimuli, the mind processes information more evenly. This reduces the sensation of urgency. Plants contribute to this effect through consistent, predictable patterns. Growth is gradual. Movement is slow or rhythmic. Changes are incremental. These qualities contrast sharply with artificial environments designed for speed and stimulation. Plants also reduce sensory overload. Leaves absorb sound, softening echoes and noise. Green surfaces reduce visual contrast, lowering strain on the visual system. Natural color palettes are processed efficiently by the brain, requiring less corrective effort. This efficiency supports mental ease. Plants also influence emotional regulation. Exposure to vegetation is associated with reduced anxiety and improved mood stability. These effects appear across cultures and age groups. They do not depend on personal preference or belief. Even individuals who report no particular interest in plants experience these responses. The effect is physiological before it is emotional. Plants also encourage outward attention. In many modern environments, attention is drawn inward, towards screens, thoughts, and internal narratives. Plants redirect attention outward, toward external stimuli that are non-threatening and stable. This shift reduces rumination and repetitive thought patterns. Leaves, stems, and growth patterns provide visual anchors that ground attention in the present moment. This grounding occurs without instruction. Plants do not require interpretation. They do not demand response. They simply exist. This non-demanding presence is central to their calming effect. Plants also influence sleep. Exposure to natural environments during the day has been linked to improved sleep quality at night. This connection may involve light exposure, circadian rhythms, and stress reduction. Plants indirectly support sleep by lowering baseline arousal levels throughout the day. In indoor environments, plants improve air quality and humidity levels, both of which influence comfort and respiratory ease during rest. These effects are modest individually, but cumulative. Plants contribute to a general sense of stability that supports rest. The relationship between plants and mental quiet does not involve stimulation. Plants do not excite the nervous system, they regulate it. They provide sensory input that is structured but not demanding. This combination allows the mind to remain alert without becoming tense. Plants also create a sense of continuity. Their presence signals that processes are ongoing, independent of human activity. Growth continues slowly. Cycles repeat. This continuity reduces cognitive pressure to monitor or control. The mind responds by relaxing vigilance. Plants do not communicate urgency. They do not accelerate. They do not require response. This absence of demand allows mental systems to return to baseline. Importantly, plants do not produce identical effects in all contexts. Density, diversity, and accessibility matter. A single plant may offer limited benefit. A landscape or garden offers more. Yet even small exposures can influence perception. Plants do not need to dominate environments to be effective. Their influence accumulates. Plants also interact with attention over longer periods. Regular exposure to vegetation supports sustained cognitive health. It reduces chronic stress load and improves resilience to mental fatigue. These benefits are not dramatic, they are steady. Plants contribute to mental quiet, not by eliminating thought, but by reducing unnecessary stimulation. They allow attention to settle into a slower rhythm. This rhythm aligns with natural biological processes. Understanding this relationship clarifies why plants appear repeatedly in spaces designed for rest, healing, and contemplation. Their presence supports calm without instruction. They do not teach, they do not persuade. They support conditions in which calm can arise naturally. As we observe how plants influence the quiet mind, we arrive at a broader perspective. Plants do not act upon the mind directly. They shape environments that allow mental systems to function without strain. This understanding brings us gently to the final consideration: how these quiet influences, taken together, shape a way of being that values continuity, balance, and rest. Plants demonstrate a form of intelligence that does not rely on speed, intention, or centralized control. This intelligence is not cognitive in the human sense. It does not involve awareness, planning, or decision-making as we understand it. Instead, it emerges from distributed processes, continuous sensing, and gradual adjustment. Plants respond to their environments constantly. They detect light, gravity, moisture, nutrients, temperature, and chemical signals. They integrate this information not in a single location, but throughout their bodies. Every root tip, every growing leaf, every stem segment participates in this sensing. This distributed awareness allows plants to remain stable in complex, changing conditions. Rather than reacting quickly, plants adjust slowly. They do not rush to correct imbalance. They modulate growth, resource use, and internal processes over time. This slow intelligence reduces error. Rapid reactions increase the risk of overcorrection. Gradual adjustment allows systems to settle into equilibrium. Plants rarely waste energy. They allocate resources where they are most effective. Growth occurs where conditions support it. When conditions decline, growth slows. This is not passivity, it is regulation. Plants do not maximize output at all times. They prioritize continuity. This approach produces resilience. Plants accept variability as a constant condition. They do not attempt to eliminate change. Seasonal shifts, weather fluctuations, and disturbance are incorporated into growth strategies. Dormancy, leaf loss, and regrowth are not failures. They are functional responses to predictable variation. This acceptance reduces stress on the system. Plants do not struggle against conditions they cannot control. They adjust within limits. Limits are central to plant intelligence. Plants operate within physical and physiological constraints. Water transport capacity, nutrient availability, and energy production define what is possible. Rather than exceeding these limits, plants regulate activity accordingly. This prevents collapse. Plants that attempt to grow faster than resources become vulnerable. Plants that respect limits persist. Plants also demonstrate intelligence through redundancy. Functions are distributed across many structures. Multiple leaves perform similar roles. Root systems spread risk across space. Failure of one part does not end the whole. This redundancy supports stability in uncertain environments. Plants do not depend on singular solutions. They rely on networks. This network-based intelligence allows plants to respond flexibly without central control. Plants also exhibit temporal intelligence. They operate on multiple timescales simultaneously. Daily cycles regulate photosynthesis and respiration. Seasonal cycles govern growth and dormancy. Long-term cycles shape reproduction and lifespan. These overlapping rhythms create stability. Plants do not rush outcomes. They allow processes to unfold over appropriate durations. This pacing reduces strain. Plants also show that intelligence does not require urgency. Urgency implies threat or scarcity. Plants respond to scarcity by slowing, not accelerating. When water is limited, transpiration decreases. When nutrients are scarce, growth adjusts. Slowing is not failure, it is preservation. Plants do not equate speed with success, they equate persistence with success. Plants also demonstrate intelligence through environmental modification. They alter soil structure, influence water movement, and shape microclimates. These modifications improve conditions not only for themselves, but for other organisms. Plants create environments that support continuity. This intelligence is not strategic. It is cumulative. Small adjustments accumulate into large-scale effects. Plants also exhibit intelligence through coexistence. They share space. They divide resources. They adjust growth to neighbors. Competition exists, but it is moderated. Plants do not seek dominance at all costs. They persist within communities. This coexistence reduces instability. Plants do not require isolation to function. They integrate into systems. The calm intelligence of plants also extends to their relationship with time. Plants do not anticipate outcomes in a conscious sense, yet their life strategies reflect deep alignment with temporal patterns. They flower when pollinators are active. They produce seeds when conditions support dispersal. They enter dormancy before harsh seasons arrive. This alignment reduces risk. Plants also demonstrate that intelligence can exist without representation. They do not model the world. They respond to it directly. Feedback guides adjustment. No abstraction is required. This form of intelligence is efficient. It reduces cognitive load by eliminating the need for prediction. Plants do not imagine future scenarios. They respond to present conditions in ways shaped by past selection. This simplicity supports reliability. Plants also illustrate that intelligence does not require awareness. Function emerges from interaction. Processes coordinate without command. Stability arises without supervision. This challenges assumptions about intelligence and control. Plants show that systems can remain adaptive without constant monitoring. They operate quietly. Their intelligence is not visible in moments of action. It is visible in outcomes. Persistence, stability, continuity. Plants endure not because they act decisively, but because they regulate continuously. This calm intelligence does not compete with other forms of intelligence. It complements them. It offers an alternative model of how systems can function without urgency, without excess and without constant intervention. Observing plant intelligence does not require philosophical interpretation. It requires attention. Plants do not instruct, they demonstrate. They show that balance can be maintained through pacing, that adaptation can occur without haste, and that presence does not require activity. This understanding naturally leads toward rest. Systems that operate without urgency do not demand constant vigilance. They allow attention to soften. The calm intelligence of plants creates conditions in which tension decreases and effort becomes unnecessary. As this perspective settles, the mind follows the same pattern. Thought slows. Attention broadens. Urgency fades. What remains is continuity, and continuity does not require effort. And so, little by little, this journey through the world of plants comes to a gentle close. Tonight, we've explored how plants live without moving, how they grow, adapt, and respond without haste or urgency. We've seen how roots anchor and nourish, how stems and leaves support life and light, how water moves patiently through living structures, and how plants shape landscapes, climates, and even the rhythm of the air we breathe. We've observed plants across time, their cycles, their longevity, and their quiet continuity. We've reflected on how they coexist with one another, with humans, and with the changing conditions of the planet. And finally, we touched upon the calm intelligence of plants, a way of existing that values balance over speed, presence over pressure, and continuity over constant effort. Nothing in the plant world rushes. Growth happens when conditions allow. Rest happens when it is needed. Adjustment is gradual and stability emerges over time. As you rest now, you may allow these ideas to remain with you, not as thoughts to hold on to, but as a quiet background sense that not everything needs to be urgent and not everything needs to be resolved. If these calm journeys bring you comfort, you're gently invited to like this video, subscribe to the channel, or leave a quiet thought in the comments. Your presence here helps others find their way to this same peaceful space, one resting mind at a time. But for now, there is nothing you need to do. Let your breathing slow. Let your body grow heavy and supported. Allow your thoughts to soften and drift without direction. Like plants settling into the night, you can rest within your own rhythm, supported by quiet processes that continue without effort. May this sense of calm stay with you as you fall asleep. Good night.